to Scrappin with Sheri. You probably don't realize this, but my ideas for page layouts come from a lot of different sources. Sometimes I see something I really like and I tweak it a little bit, but sometimes it comes from a friend of mine saying, hey, I don't know how to use something. Well, last weekend, one of my friends said, I don't really know how to use my mat packs. I've got a lot of different mats, but I'm not sure what to do with them. So my brain started going into gear about how to show how to use the mat packs. And it ended up so perfectly because I was at a friend's house Sunday afternoon and I had been thinking about it, and I pulled out these mats from the On the Farm collection. Now, most of these are from On the Farm, except these two. They're from Wide Open Spaces, but I like the way they coordinated with these particular mats. And while I was at my friend's house Sunday night, and I had been thinking about the mat idea, her husband asked if anybody wanted to go gather some eggs at their chicken coop. Well, I knew I had this mat, and I immediately jumped at the opportunity to go gather eggs and get some pictures. How many of you actually do events or wear certain clothes because you know the pictures are going to look better? Yeah, we all do it, don't we? So let me show you a 2-page spread and the way I use the mats from the mat pack to make those pages quick and beautiful. Now, I didn't have a lot left from On the Farm, so when I started looking through my paper, this was actually a better choice for what I wanted to do. And this is from the incentive pack that includes the backyard barbecue stuff. So I loved it that it had the wood grain on the back, the checks on this side, and that turned out to be my best choice for this page layout I want to do. So we're going to do our cutting first on our background pages. Now, if you're looking at my trimmer, you notice something a little bit different about it. I've put some clips on there because I want to cut out the center of this piece of paper and flip it. So my wood grain will be in the center and the check will be on the outside edges as a border. I don't do that a whole lot because I've got plenty of paper to spare, but I don't have any more of this wood grain, nor do I have any more check right now. And I decided that I needed to use this paper saving technique. Now, I'm going to make about a 3/4 inch border around this page. And in doing that, what I have done on my trimmer is move this line to the 3/4 inch mark. Now that is right there. And when I move that line to the 3/4 inch mark, I can put my clip there, my binder clip, and that makes the housing stop there. So I'm not going to go too far when I'm cutting and cut off the edge of my page. The same thing down here. I put my the line on my trimmer to the 3/4 inch mark. Now that makes it 11 1/4 on this end. And then I put my binder clip on there. Now, if you're big on measurements, the end of my binder clip is actually at the very last little line right here on my trimmer. So this end of the binder clip is at the last measuring line on that cutting area. And that causes my blade not to go any further than those lines. And in doing that, it makes our cuts a lot quicker. Now remember, I'm going for a 3/4 inch border, and that 3/4 inch line is not this one, that's our 1/2 inch, but this one right here. So I slide my paper to the 3/4 inch, and I just cut from binder to binder. Now you can see it stops automatically right at that edge, so I don't have to worry about going too far, and I don't have to worry about looking at it every single time to make sure I'm getting it right. I'm lining up on the 3/4 inch here and just cutting end to end. And that is such a quick way to make these quick frames on our paper. Now, occasionally you're going to get one little area that doesn't cut. You can use your scissors to chop that really quickly, or you can just typically tear it off because it's going to be a really small edge. And you see I'm having to do it on all four, but it's not hurting the look of anything. So that gives me my border. It gives me my inside look that I was going for here. Now, we've got two options at this point. We could go ahead and tape this directly to a scrapbook page if you work on the Creative Memories pages that are true pages. But I'm not ready to put this in my scrapbook. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to go. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and pull out one of my paper cover sheets that's left from one of the paper packs. And I'm just going to tape this onto this background. And that gives me the ability to put it into my album when I'm ready to put it in. You know, I mentioned to you, I just took those pictures a few days ago. So obviously, I'm not quite ready just yet to put it in my scrapbook. I've got a few more things to catch up first. So I'm just lining this border up along the outside edge of this cover sheet. And you could use repositionable tape for this. That might have been a really good option. I just grabbed my regular because that was what I had handy close by. All right, and remember we're turning the middle part so that we see the wood grain. I'm just sliding this into the hole that's left there. Now, isn't that cute? All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the second one exactly like that. Again, remember that we've already got our binder clips on here. And we did that by lining up this line, the line that's on the housing, to the 3/4 inch mark. And then we set the binder clips. This one is all the way to the top edge as far as it'll go. This one is lined up on the last little line that's on your trimmer, the last little measurement line. And when we put it in, we're lining it up on 3/4 here, because I'm doing 3/4 all the way. All right, now that we've got our two background pages, we can start working with the mats. And the good thing is there's not a whole lot we have to do to them. So when I started laying these out, I do want to journal about this event. And if you're wondering, I developed my pictures on a 3.5 by 5 sheet of paper. I did that with my little Epson PM400 printer. And I set them up so they left just a little bitty white border around those so I wouldn't have to mat every one of them. I don't develop a lot of pictures on my home printer just because it's a little more expensive to do that. But for this particular layout, I was ready to do this, and I knew I wanted the 3.5 by 5 size. Now my mats are 4 by 6, and that's the smaller size that Creative Memories makes in the mat packs. They also make the 4.5 by 6.5, so some of these are larger, and you'll see what we're going to do with those. But let me lay these out, kind of what I had in mind. I want to do the title down here, the Welcome to Our Coop. I just thought that was too cute. Because I've got red over there, I want to bring some red over here. I wanted to use this little barn for journaling. Now, there wasn't a barn in the pictures anywhere, but, you know, the chickens kind of give you the feel of that barn. I've got this green, and if you look, these mats are 4 by 6. This is a 4.5 by 6.5, so we're going to have to do a little work on it. And this one has the little animals. I liked that. Again, it's a larger mat, so we'll do some work with it. And I've got two of these that are kind of the little chicken wire, but these came out of a different pack. They came out of the wide open spaces. But I'm going to put one there, one here, and then I've got another with the little animals that I'm going to have going that way, I think. Yeah. Okay. So our biggest problem is the fact that some of these mats are too big and they're not going to fit in the spacing that I'm working with. But let's lay out the pictures, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Now, this was kind of at the end. We were at a little luau party. That's why I've got the lei on. I don't typically wear leis to go gather eggs. This was the owner telling us about his chickens. And I like all that green in there, so I wanted him to be on that green. And then I've got the pictures of the chickens. their little house right here. This is where we reached in and got the eggs. We did actually get 4 eggs that night, and one of them was still warm, so everybody was joking about us gathering the warm eggs before they even had time to drop. Look at the colors on that, how that brings out the colors of the eggs. So this is my basic layout. Now, because these 2 mats are 4x6, I'm going to leave them as is because I like the look of that. I like the extra green around the edges of this. It was just a beautiful evening. The sky was so clear and pretty, and the green grass. So those I'm going to leave. These are too big. And I'm going to go ahead and tape this picture on. And I'm going to go ahead and line it up, kind of center it. But I'm going to cut this mat down and make it a 4x6 size. And I can do that pretty easily with my trimmer. Now, because I've cut a little here, and because I've lined up my picture in the center here, and I know this is a 4.5 inch mat, I'm going to have to cut a little off of each end. And I need to take my clip off there. This is going to end up being a 6 inch mat when I'm finished. And then I'm going to make it a 4 inch this way. I'll just cut a little here and a little here. Now, obviously, I'm a little off with my picture length to length, end to end. So I'm going to move that down. Yes, I could have cut it down before I put my picture on, and that probably would have been a better choice. But hey, you live and you learn. All right, so that one is finished. Now, because there is no journaling box on this one, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off, because all I have to do is cut an end and one side. I'm not trying to center up anything with a journaling box in the middle. And that one is finished. I'm going to do the same with this one, because there again, there's no journaling box in there that I'm trying to work around. This also, because of the size of my photos, it gives me a little room to add some journaling on the side if I'd like to do that. So I think that's really good. Now this one, we're back to one that has a journaling box in the middle. We could put our picture up here and leave some journaling space there, but because those lines are horizontal and my picture is not, that's not a good option for me. So I'm going to cut off a little bit on each side again to make this a 4 inch mat. I'm going to cut off a little on each end to make it 6 this way. And then I can line my picture up on that one. So do you see how well the mats will fit when you've got them cut down to that 4x6 size? They're fitting just right inside this nice little space that we've got going here. I think I'm going to slide that one that way. Got all these scraps here. Now, the only one that's going to cause us a lot of problem is this one. And when you look at it, we've got an issue, because this one could be cut apart to make 2 smaller journaling mats. But I want this red on here. So I'm going to do something a little bit strange. I'm going to chop this right through the middle. And then I'm going to add some tape right here. Line it up on my 4 inch mark, because I know I want this mat to be a 4x6. And I'm just going to piece it right back together here. Now, I know that it's too big top to bottom too, and I can't really get my picture to cover that. So I'm going to cut it in half again through the center and pull that 6 inch back out. We're going to line this up, and we're just going to piece it back together again. Now, why would I do that rather than grabbing a red sheet of paper and just matting it? Because I like the way all these patterns work together, And because they're from the same collection, except for these two that are the little wire, I just like the way the patterns work together. Gives me a little bit of extra. Now, you can see I'm still ending up with a little bit of white showing right here at the bottom. But you know there's always a way to cover that up. We call it embellishing. So I've got some of these taped down, not all of them. I will do my journaling in the barn. That sounds kind of funny. Journaling in the barn. Not all are taped down, but most of them at this point. So where would you go back and add embellishments? Well, obviously for me, I need to cover up that white space right there. So I'm going to pull some of those stickers that I had left from that On the Farm collection. And because I am sliding my pictures to one side or the other, I could cut that off if I wanted to. But I like the look of the squared edges around the outside. So let's gather our stickers from the On the Farm collection. Now, what kind of works for this? I've got a little chicken, some chicks here. That locally grown would be really cute because, I mean, that's where they live, is on the farm. Let's see, what else do we have that would work well with this? Farm Friends is kind of cute. Home on the Range. Yippee, that could be appropriate since we did gather some eggs, but I don't really want to put the red on this red here. So I think I'm going to go with Locally Grown. That brings me some more green from my top down to the bottom edge here. And you know how I am. We're going to pull out some foam squares. Have you noticed that Creative Memories has come out with a new multi-pack of foam squares that's got different sizes in it? I have ordered those. I haven't gotten them yet, but I am real excited to play with those. Y'all know how I love the foam squares. I'm going to go ahead and stick this mat down so it's not sliding around on me while I'm trying to add that sticker embellishment. And we'll add this Locally Grown right down there. Look how cute that is. And I love it that it brings the green from the top area over here. Now I'm going to do my journaling, just a little quick journaling in the barn right there. I've got the Welcome to the Coop here. So we've got some design on this side of the page. I feel like we need something here. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and tape this mat down. And add a few little chicks to it. And again, we'll pull the foam squares. I'm going to use one of the big foam squares for this larger chicken. And then maybe one of the little bitty foam squares to go on this little chick here. There weren't any babies here, but that's okay. You still get the feel of the farm, the chickens. All right. And one more that I wanted to use, one more sticker that I saw as I was going through this, is the one that says chore time. Now, obviously, this was not a chore to me. This was a lot of fun, and I jumped at the chance to go. A lot of the reason is because I wanted to get some cute pictures, but I grew up in the country, and we didn't ever have chickens, but I just liked the thought of it, I guess, the thought of gathering those fresh eggs. The owner did let me bring home some fresh eggs, too, so I was pretty excited about that. I'm just going to go ahead and stick this whole page down, and this one will be a done deal. So one thing that I liked, one other sticker that I liked, was the chore time right there. And I'm going to pull that, use a couple of foam squares on it. And my first thought was, oh, I could put that down at the bottom here where I have the eggs in the basket. But I've already got, I'm kind of heavy on design right there. So I'm going to pull that chore time right up here and use it along with my little chick stickers. And maybe pull it down towards the picture of me with the basket a little bit. And then maybe find one more little chick to go right there. All right, so that page is totally taped. This page is not, but it doesn't take but a minute to go ahead and tape all those down. I hope you see how using these mats can be helpful to you. It gives you a lot of pattern on your page without being too much. I mean, there are a lot of different patterns going on, but because we used a background that didn't have much pattern, this white wood that we flipped, we were able to add a lot of pattern in our background, in our mats, without the page getting too terribly busy. So what do you think? We've got design here, we've got design here, we've got design here. Kind of draws your eye across the page. If I had any other pictures, and I might have a couple of pictures that I could blow up and put some little chickens right here. And actually, in talking about it, I think I'll do that. So when you see the finished page, you will see a couple of little pictures of chickens right there in the middle. Now, that's our layout for today using mat packs. If you've got some mats that you haven't been using, I encourage you to pull them out and play with them. And even find you some binder clips and try that cutting technique that we tried today. You saw how quick and easy that was to make a quick border around your page. So I would encourage you to give it a shot. Have fun and happy scrapping.